the beauty of a step one when it's done properly is when you listen to the middle of the phone call, you might think you're listening to A or B, a radio call-in show. You might think you're listening to a senior support hotline. You might think you're listening to a doctor-patient conference. You might think you're listening to a parent and his or her adult child. And that's the brilliance of a step one. I talked to you about right brain versus left brain. We really think in our world that when someone says, how much is that tub? It really just means pawn to king four. We're playing a chess match, with people who call in and want a price on the tub. And we know that the way to win the chess match and get the appointment set so that we can potentially save their life and we can make a sale is we need to really understand what's going on with that consumer so that we can get in the door and then we can best help them. So as I mentioned, our inside salespeople in the contact center are trained for a week-long period. And, it's actually an 8-day paid training program. And so it's 5 days one week and 3 of another. And the entire first day is how to listen, how to ask questions based on what you've heard, how to probe, and how to keep people literally in that emotional hemisphere of their brain when they call in. Now, we talked about how long the call is, and that has really proven to be a measuring stick for us over the years that we've done this in knowing how well we'll convert an appointment. Now, I mentioned to you that people thought I was a little kooky with this step 1 through 5 process when I introduced it, early 2012, late 2011. And it's worked so well that we look at the following KPI, the following metrics to determine if our step 1 continues to be successful. And what you're looking at here is a study that we've done on thousands and thousands of phone calls where we've measured using a speech analytics tool that we have here in the contact center. How long is the step 1 and how does that relate to the conversion ratio, or in essence like our sales ratio on inbound telephone calls? And as you can see, that 5 to 7 minute mark, that's where the real magic happens. You're in the 60s between 5 to 7 minutes just in step 1. The entire length of the call is 12 to 15 minutes. So if you get above 3 minutes, right, you're at 46%. This was a study that we did in 2013. We did it again in 2014 to see if the trend continued, and this is what it looked like. We had gotten to a point where under 3 minutes, we were at 17.5%. 3 to 5 minutes, we were getting around that 47% that I mentioned to you. But once we got to 5 to 7 minutes, that's where the real magic happened, between 60 and 70%. And as you would guess, if we stay in the step 1 too long, sort of like if you stay in your needs assessment in the house too long, all right, the trend goes down. So we've figured out the formula, and we keep our people on process and on task with this because it's very easy. Everything that we do here is quantified, managed, and calculated. As an example, this is a live view of everything that's going on in the contact center right now. And the 2 highlighted people that you see are people who are being listened to. So we've got an inbound shower call that is at its 12-minute mark. We've got an outbound direct mail call. Someone sent in a direct mail business reply card. It's at its 18-minute mark. Both of these agents are being coached, and they're being coached. You can see the live coaching indicator is that highlight. That means they're being listened to by a floor supervisor, and that floor supervisor is probably in his or her ear, right? We got Duke and Barb. They're in their ear being whisper coached. So that's one of the beauties of what we do. So I see Kelly popped in there, says nobody can hear anything. So let me take a look. So Kelly, if you can't hear me, it looks like audio is working fine. You actually have to leave the webinar and then come back in. We had a little bit of an internet glitch here. So if you can read my lips, maybe. So maybe Kelly's already left and he's going to come back. So, all right, so the rest of you can hear me. At any rate, everything that we do in our contact center is highly scrutinized. There's a lot of light constantly on the contact center, the campaigns that we run, the people who are managing those campaigns, and the people who are calling on those campaigns. So we're big data geeks here in our contact center, and this length of step one really holds true. What I'd like for you to do is to hear what it sounds like in its entirety, and hopefully our audio won't go dead again, because I want you to hear not just the step one, but then what happens after step one, because we want to talk about the things that are in front of you right now, and that is time and distance, and how it relates to your scheduling, and how we select times for you, and how we sort of solve the puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and play a call in its entirety, and I'm going to take you through what the agent or the inside sales rep is doing when he or she gets a yes. And this is a call that one of my supervisors pulled for me. I haven't heard it yet, so we'll listen to it for the first time together. It's by Catherine Harris, and it looks like it was, maybe a few days ago. There we go.
Thank you for calling Jacuzzi Hydrotherapy Walk-In Tubs. My name is Kate. Can I have your first name, please?
Virginia.
Hi, Virginia. In order to serve you better today, I see you're calling from 559-684-7457. If we were to get disconnected, can I reach you back at that number?
Yes.
And what feature did you read or see about the walk-in tub that prompted you to find out some more information today?
There's that magic question, like I mentioned to you. What feature did you read about? We want to refer them back to whatever it is that prompted. It could have been an internet page. It could have been an advertisement in a publication. But what feature did you read about? And let's see how that helps the inside sales rep gain control of the call.
Well, I've been getting a lot of information on the walk-in tubs. I mean, a lot of calls and stuff. But I got a card from you today, and I thought, well, I'll just give you a call and find out what's going on.
Oh, great. So you had gotten one of those cards and filled it out?
I
we
filled
sent
it
you
out.
one of those cards? Okay.
Yes.
So do you currently have a tub or a shower?
I have a walk-in shower, all tile.
And can you describe for me the challenges you're having with that shower?
I really don't care for it.
No. Do you just not like to take a shower, or do you prefer a bath?
I really prefer a bath, but I'm also a little leery of the tiles because it's slippery when it's wet.
Oh, for that you stand on?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's dangerous, huh? Have you ever slipped and fallen or had a near miss?
In there? No.
Oh,
very
wonderful.
careful.
Yeah, because there's nothing soft in there, huh?
What?
There's nothing soft in that shower if you were to fall.
No.
You could get hurt. So, Virginia, so are you looking for the tub for the hydrotherapy or for the safety?
For the safety, and take a bath.
Okay. So how long has it been since you've been able to sit in a nice hot tub and soak?
Couple of years.
And us girls love that, don't we?
Yeah.
Now, Virginia, would anybody else be using the tub besides yourself?
No, just me.
Okay. And so you don't really have any ailments or anything going on that causes you a problem in the bathroom? It's just you're afraid of that slippery tile in the shower?
No, and my age.
Well, you sound pretty young to me.
Thank you.
And what bothers you about your age that you think you need a walk-in tub?
I'm 87.
Oh, my gosh, I never would have guessed, Virginia. Wow. And do you feel that just at some point you'll need one, or no arthritis, no aching? You have what?
A pacemaker now.
I'm not sure I understood that.
A pacemaker in my heart.
Oh, a pacemaker. I'm so sorry. And how does that affect your day-to-day living?
I don't find any difference. I just walk a little slower and a little more careful, you know. You don't catch me running or big bopping downstairs now.
So what about the pacemaker causes you to walk slower? I'm not familiar with them.
Well, I fell a couple of years ago, and from the fall, it kind of messed up my motor skills a little bit. I had bleeding on the brain. It took them 7 hours to stop it.
Now, I want to pause right there because I want to illustrate, the importance of the step one and what we're trying to accomplish in the step one. You heard a couple of really juicy details, or what, as sort of our step one scientists here would call really juicy details. So she's got the pacemaker, right? But she also flashed up that cue card that she had a fall. If you really listen to what Kate is doing here, she's just getting her into this conversation where she's completely off this idea now of, okay, I called in to find out how much that tub is. And that is, just the magic of a step one. And some people come in and they call in, they're vehement. Hey, I just want to get a price on that. Okay, great. I can absolutely help you with it. The answer to that question is always, I can absolutely help you with that. And then they're taught to redirect it back to what feature, what's going on with you, describe for me, all right, what happened when, and you see when you get, 3-4 minutes down the line, listen to the conversation they're having. They're having this conversation about, her pacemaker, her fall, and let's see how well Kate is listening. Again, I haven't heard this call yet to see if she probes any on the fall or not. Because she's already at the 4-minute mark on this call, which in our probability matrix, if you remember, is, she's right here. She's already at about a 40% chance of getting this converted, just where she is now. But let's see where she goes with it.
Oh my goodness. Did you hit your head?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh. And what, it just started, so it started to bleed?
I know they rushed me to a trauma unit.
Oh, that must have just been so, oh my goodness. I don't know if I've talked to anyone that's been to a trauma unit.
Yeah. Now, what I'm interested in is I need a ballpark figure on what these things cost.
And there you go. There's that magic statement. I want a ballpark figure, right? I want a price. So this caller's still focused on her agenda, right? But Kate's got her also that status that I mentioned to you that we would like people to be in is swimming in pain. We've got them sharing with us all the pain. Now, at this juncture, I'd like you guys to understand how do we know when step one ended? How do we know when step two ended? How do we know these things? There is no magic bullet script for how one of these phone calls should go to convert a lead for you. In fact, we teach people that there is no script for step one. Now, we have scripts, don't get me wrong, but step one and why our training is so long is because what we really need to do for a lot of people who come in, if they have any contact center experience at all, we sort of need to break them down and rebuild them in the right way because they're used to just sort of yakking at or reading a script at people. It was sort of like we did in the beginning of this webinar. We're talking about, well, every bathroom's a little different, and I've got to take a look at the plumbing and the electrical, and I got to take measurements, and I could furnish you with wordy scripts all day long, but they're not going to convert where we're used to converting, because what we teach people how to do is listen and probe, listen and probe. But when you're done the step one, which which might not be like the step one you just did, might not be like the next one you're going to do. They're like snowflakes. I mean, steps one are just never the same. It depends on what people offer us in the way of their pain and what they're sharing. But when we finish our step one, we are mandated. The rule is you have to say the words, now I understand why you called, or I definitely understand how I can help you, or I certainly understand what you're going through. And that string of words is then searched by our software that tells us Kate's step one was 4 minutes and 17 seconds long, or it was 7 minutes and 16 seconds long, whatever it is. That's how we're able to provide this data that's on the screen in front of you. That's how we know how long our step one is. So listen closely, because she's at about the 4 minute and 32 second mark now, or she's exactly at the 4 minute and 32 second mark. Let's listen for her to reiterate everything she heard in step one, and then say to this caller, well, I definitely understand some version of that. And that's when we know she's off of step one and on to step two. When she gets to step two, incidentally, for everyone's edification, that is scripted all the way through. It's read word for word. So listen close.
All right, great, Virginia. I can absolutely help you find out that information. Let me just make sure that I heard you correctly. You currently have a shower, and the tile is very slippery, and you're afraid that you might fall on that. So you're looking at the tub. You have a pacemaker. You fell a couple years ago, and so you had some bleeding on the brain. So you're very careful with how you walk, and you're looking to the tub for the safety of it. Is that correct?
Right, right.
Oh, okay, Virginia. Now I understand how I can help you.
Now I understand how I can help you. There's the end of step one. And incidentally, I'll pull this media player over, which just happens to be iTunes. So you can see she's at 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So if you look at the probability matrix on where she is, I mean, she's right in the wheelhouse. She's right in that zone. And she's watching the clock. And she got a second question for, a price. So she's like, okay, let me wrap it up. Let me reiterate. And let me go ahead and move on to step two. So what you're about to hear now is the scripted step two. At the end of step two, what you hear is another mandatory transition phrase. And that transition phrase is, doesn't that sound helpful? And then we just wait. You're all in sales, so you've all heard this adage, the first one that talks loses. So when our inside salesperson says, doesn't it sound helpful? They're waiting for a yes or no. And more often than not, they get a yes if they've done a 5 to 7 minute step one. You remember what step four is your objection and rebuttal cycle. You only need to do a step four if you did a weak step one. So let's see what happens on this call. Again, I haven't heard it yet, but let's listen to it together. Here we go.
And here's what I know for sure. Is one of the several models of the jacuzzi hydrotherapy tub is tailored to fit in your existing bathroom space and also fit your specific body type. That's not a concern. The tub, though, Virginia, is truly a custom installation with many configuration options. So what I do is schedule a free design appointment with one of my trained jacuzzi technicians who will measure your bathroom, evaluate your plumbing and electrical, and answer all your questions. It's our way of going the extra mile and still doing house calls like the old days, but it costs you nothing. Now, Virginia, while my technician's there, he'll walk you through the unique features of the jacuzzi, help you pick out a model that's right for you, and then be able to leave you a price on the project right down to the penny. And here's the great thing. We'll honor that price for a minimum of 45 days so you can make a decision on your own timeline at your own pace. Now, doesn't that sound helpful?
Yeah, give me an idea.
There you go. So she wins, right? 5 to 7 minutes. She reads step two. If you guys want to hear it again, and then that's like about a 45-second piece, right? That is how we set up what's going to happen when you get there. So it's very important that you understand, what's said on the phone. You heard the part about, okay, we're going to leave your price for 45 days. When we come out there, several models. This is the thing that we talked about in the very beginning of the webinar, if you remember. Everyone said, well, every bathroom's a little different. Well, how we approach this, one of our several models is definitely going to fit. We don't know which one. We're going to make a house call. We're going to help you design it. We're going to help you pick it. We're going to work together. And then I'm going to give you a price right down to the penny. Here's a great thing. I'll give you a price that I'll honor for 45 days. And of course, that's the one before you do your last drop. And that's how we set the table. So one more time, just so you are aware of how we're setting the table before you show up. And then she says, doesn't that sound helpful? And the woman says, yeah, that sounds pretty good. It'll give me an idea. And then I'm going to take you into what happens next.
And now I understand how I can help you. And here's what I know for sure. Is one of the several models of the jacuzzi hydrotherapy tub is tailored to fit in your existing bathroom space and also fit your specific body type. That's not a concern. The tub, though, Virginia, is truly a custom installation with many configuration options. So what I do is schedule a free design appointment with one of my trained jacuzzi technicians who will measure your bathroom, evaluate your plumbing and electrical, and answer all your questions. It's our way of going the extra mile and still doing house calls like the old days, but it costs you nothing. Now, Virginia, while my technician's there, he'll walk you through the unique features of the jacuzzi, help you pick out a model that's right for you, and then be able to leave you a price on the project right down to the penny. And here's the great thing. We'll honor that price for a minimum of 45 days so you can make a decision on your own timeline at your own pace. Now, doesn't that sound helpful?
Yeah, give me an idea.
Okay, there you go. That's what's said, just word for word on every lead we're going to send you on. The step one piece, always going to be a little different. Guy calls in, his wife fell and broke her wrist. It's going to sound different than what we just heard. Female calls in, had a hip replacement. Going to sound a little bit different. Female, this one calls it, she's got a pacemaker, remove slow. It's going to sound a little different. So every step one is sort of its own unique experience. When we get to step two, that's the scripted procedure, and that's what we tell everybody who we go out and see. So let's hear what Catherine has to say next, or where she takes it. The woman said yes. Let's see where it goes.
All right, great. So, Virginia, let's do this. What works best for you, mornings or afternoons?
Afternoons.
Okay.
So now what you're about to hear is art form number 2. I mentioned this to you. Art form number 1, she's successful on. 6 minutes and 16 seconds, she has a yes. And she has someone saying, yep, have the person come out. We've got some evidence of why we need to come out, and we're starting to set the table for a sale. We're setting the table for you. Art form number 2 is, how do we solve the geography puzzle? Let me explain to you what that means. This is our territory. This is the territory that we cover from this office right here in Lakewood, Colorado. So some of you are in the Western time zone. Some of you are in the Eastern time zone. Some of you are in the middle of the country. But all Catherine knows, Kate rather, who's on this phone call, is a first name and a telephone number. She has no earthly idea where in the world this woman lives. And now, in real time, she has to go select a time for you to show up, and she's got to make it work time and distance, right, from where other appointments are. So what I've done is broken up the country into what you see in front of you here, and that is regions, certainly, and markets. So when we ask this person, or when Kate asks this person, logically next, hey, what part of the country is my technician coming to? We've been busy in most areas. What's your zip code? That's going to tell Kate, all right, through the database that we've built, based on a zip code, what one of all of these markets this record exists in. So as an example, Kate, what she sees is a giant calendar that looks like this when it pops up. It's going to be virtually every appointment we have scheduled around the country for today, for all of next week. Well, how does she make heads or tails of where and what market this consumer is, and how does she pick the time? I want you to see the process so you have an idea of what goes on internally and what goes into the smart design of your schedule, even though some days it can be frustrating and some days it's just going to seem downright dumb, right? Why did I drive to Boise, Idaho, as an example, and I live in Twin Falls, and then I drove all the way back to Twin Falls, and the next morning I got another appointment there. Why? Because we probably just got a phone call in, and the best time to get to a lead is today, tomorrow, the next day. So let's hear how the rest of this phone call goes, and as we're doing that, I'm going to walk you through what Kate is looking at. So if I were to pick any old market here, let's go California Central, and look at any old record for today. All Kate has on this record, everybody, is, let me make that a little bigger for you. All she has at her disposal is a first name at this point. She doesn't even have a zip code. She's got a first name and she's got a phone number. We didn't hear it yet, right? We didn't hear her address. We have no idea where this person is. But when she gets that information, she's going to use this tool, which is where she's collecting the data. She's going to use this tool over here, which tells her, based on the data she collected, here's where your openings are, and here's where the other appointments are scheduled and what cities they are. And then she's going to use this tool here, right, that is going to enable her to look at whatever mileage radius she wants to look at and determine where to schedule this appointment. And what you're looking at here, for those of you familiar with Northern California, is here's every appointment we have scheduled 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks out. If I eliminate 3 and 4 weeks, looks like we're going to Reno in 3 weeks, right? If I eliminate just those 2 weeks and I'm looking at this week and next week, I can look at here's the house I have scheduled, or here's the house I'm trying to schedule. Here's where my rep lives. There's one rep, there's the other rep, and here is where all the appointments are. So on Thursday, I happen to have an appointment scheduled at, 4 p.m., and it is 46 minutes away from the one I'm trying to schedule. Way down here in the Bay Area, I'm an hour and 40 minutes away at 9 o'clock in the morning. So in concert, she's going to use all three of these things to complete art form number 2, which is now solve the puzzle, right? You got her to say yes. Now you go from your right brain into your left brain and do the puzzle, complete the math problem. Let's hear how she does it.
Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, morning, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
Oh, so not afternoons, mornings.
Yeah, morning. That way my housekeeper's there.
Oh, okay. And Virginia, what year was your home built?
What?
What year was your home built?
I really don't know. I bought it last year. And it was
an older home or newer? Okay.
It was an older house, and they went in and pulled everything out inside and refurbished it.
All right, great. And how many bathrooms do you have, Virginia?
2.
And is it a wood frame home, a brick home, or a modular home?
No, it's not modular. It's like stucco.
Okay. Oops. And Virginia, if we were unable to reach you at this number, do you have an alternate phone number?
No, just that number.
Okay. And is there anybody that you count on to make your decisions that might have some great questions?
I make my own decisions.
So you would not like anyone at this appointment?
If they're here, they're fine, but no. I handle it.
And Virginia, what is your last name?
Burroughs, Burroughs.
So she's
and what would be
collecting
the
all this
exact
data.
address my technician would be coming to?
767 North Cherry Street.
And your city?
Tulare, California.
And the zip code?
93274.
All right, perfect. And we don't want only Monday, Wednesday, or Friday afternoons, correct?
No, morning.
Oh, mornings. Okay.
So now she's got a few parameters to work within. Okay, I can only see you on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday afternoon. So now she has to look, do I have an afternoon appointment open on any of those days in the market in which I'm looking at? And, not only that, but does it fit around everything else I have scheduled? So she's got to do all this in real time and still keep her prospect entertained.
That's normal for you guys?
Mm-hmm. You're in Virginia, right?
I'm actually in Denver, Colorado at our Central Contact Center.
Oh, are you? I
Yeah.
thought this call came from Virginia, and I thought, yeah, I used to live in Virginia.
Really? What got you all the way to California?
My uncle needed me out here, so I came out here to check on him, keep an eye on him.
Well, that was awful nice of you. You went a long way.
Yeah. My mother and I drove across country. My mother was 92 when we came across.
Oh, you're kidding.
And by the way, while all this small talk is going on, Kate is looking at her tools to find an appointment time. So that's how we teach our people to multitask.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just trying to find something here. Monday, Wednesday,
I need
Friday.
them to call me. I need them to call me before they come. At least to call me the day before that they're going to be here, and they call me about an hour before they get here, so I can put my dogs up.
Okay. Well, we're going to make you an appointment right now if I can find something on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, so you'll know when that will be. No, that's a Thursday. I'm sorry. Oh, so did you like Virginia or California better?
Well, I'm used to California now, you know. I didn't care for the snow back there.
A little cold for your taste?
Huh?
Was it a little cold for your taste?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Colorado. We don't have a whole lot of snow, not like we used to, but I'm a sunshine girl. All right, it looks like I could be out there Wednesday, July 1st at 9 o'clock. How does that work for you?
Let me see, July 1st. Wednesday. Okay. July 1st.
Okay, let me
Make
put
it
that
about
on.
9:30.
Okay, so we only do appointments at 9, 12:30, and 4.
Oh, do 9 then. Let's get it over with.
Okay, so July 1st at 9. And it's going to be great. Don't get it over with. You're going to really enjoy it. All right, now.
Okay, now, key thing that she said there, hopefully you all picked up on it, we do appointments at 9, 12:30, and 4. That is our typical schedule paradigm. So you'll either see leads at 9, 12:30, 4. You see some variations here and there. You might see at 2 o'clock because that's the way the schedule worked with time and distance. If in the rare event, let's say it's not too rare, but let's say in this phone call, Kate had asked, do you want anybody else there to help you make a decision? She's looking to see if there are any adult children who might kill your sale. And, we determined that there aren't any children involved. And she was pretty adamant about that to our customer. So let's say, however, she said, well, yeah, my son helps me with all my financial decisions. If we had to get the son there, we're likely to have to schedule that at 6 or 6:30 because he's probably working. So plan for that. But the typical schedule, the normal schedule, 9, 12, 34. They don't 100% of the time fit in that paradigm, but 9, 12, 34 is the norm. What you're about to hear now is our step 5 warm down. So to reiterate, she did, there's a 5-minute, 2-second step 1. Her step 2 was word for word by the script. That took a minute, right? Then she asked for the sale. Doesn't that sound helpful? And then she shut up. And the woman said, yep, that sounds helpful. She spent the next 3-4 minutes trying to figure out, okay, where on the schedule can I put you? Let me get all your information. What kind of house is it? Do you have other decision makers? Are you home for the afternoon? What's the best time? Great, got your time. Now what you're about to hear is step 5, also scripted, word for word. That's what we leave them with, and that's how we tee it up for you. Here it comes.
Now, here is what you can expect when we come to see you. My technician will arrive on time. He'll have a business card and identification. As I mentioned before, he'll look at the bathroom, take some measurements, look at the plumbing and electrical, and determine exactly what needs to be done to get the old tub out and your new walk-in jacuzzi tub in. Then he'll show you colors, pictures, a short video about the tub, and of course, answer all your questions. He'll then leave you with the price that's good for a minimum of 45 days. Now, Virginia, do you have something to write with?
I've already written it down.
Okay, so I want to give you a special promotional code. Your appointment's Wednesday, July 1st at 9 o'clock, and when my technician gets there, your promotional code is CA3135. And that way you'll have all the information you called about and the best price possible for your decision. And Virginia, I have one last thing I want to share with you. When my technician visits with you, he's also going to provide information about a free gift. The gift will be yours to keep whether or not you decide to move forward with making your bathroom safe. It is a free product we want you to have because ultimately we do care about your safety. And my technician will explain that during his visit. So I just want to let you know, Virginia, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll see you on July 1st at 9 a.m.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that's how we set a lead. Does anybody feel like he can go out and sell that? Most of you guys are muted, so chime in if you want that lead. Anybody? Nobody wants that lead?
I'll take it if she moves back to Virginia.
Yeah. Appointed.
Yeah. One of you guys is in California, right?
We got a Napa guy somewhere.
Yeah, I think we got a guy in California on the call. That might be your lead. I want you to understand that that's how we set up. Now, you heard something at the very end about the free gift. I'm going to explain that on this phone call. You're going to need to know that, and you're going to get material on that very shortly. But I can't stress enough how regimented we are in our processes in setting up these leads. And what you heard there was just a perfect step 5. All told, she's at 12 minutes and 58 seconds, a 13-minute call. And that's very typical of how we set up every lead. The product that you will get from our contact center is a very consistent product. You know, every lead will be set up the same way. We will know who's the decision-making committee. You know, what time can they be there? What are the ailments that these people are dealing with? So let's talk about what happens next. You know, the next step in the process. All right, I covered the time and distance art form number 2, but what happens next? Well, we do something called the double tap confirmation. The very first thing that happens is, as soon as Kate is done, your support team, our dispatch office, will call that lead and confirm it. And that confirmation is a quality control check, right? So the quality control agent will confirm the decision makers, the address, the information. They got a promotional code. She knows why we're coming, right? Here are the things that we promise you in every lead. You'll have a decision-making committee. You'll have a homeowner. They will have a need, interest, and desire in one of our products. They will know why you're coming. They will have time for you to consummate the sale. They will have a promotional code. Those are the things we promise, all 6 of them, in every one of our leads. Now, what I didn't say there was I'm not going to promise you that she can afford it. I'm not going to promise you that she lives in a mansion versus a modest bungalow. That we don't confirm them. In our Saving Lives mission, right, we want to be of service to every senior who calls. There are certain people in certain areas who call and they offer up, hey, I can't afford anything. Does the VA pay for this? We don't set those leads, all right? If we unearth it on the phone call. But everything that you heard there is the consistent lead product that we hand out, and that's the baton we're handing off to you guys. So dispatch office gets the lead next. They call and confirm. And once they, now this one's set for July 1st. So that got confirmed, you know, the day she said it, like a day or 2 ago, right? And then it gets stuck up on the calendar. The day before July 1st, in this case, June 30th, they will get a second telephone call. This one will get a second telephone call to remind her they're coming. So the first call is the quality control call. That's another 4 to 5 minute telephone call confirming everything Kate just did on the phone. And then called on June 30th before we show up on the 1st is just, hey, I'm reminding you we're coming out, and here's the technician that's coming out. In this case, this woman wanted a call the day before, and then she wanted a call an hour earlier. How do we handle that? The dispatcher will say, here's what's going on. Your technician is Mario Marini, and he's the individual coming out to see you, and I'm going to personally call you about an hour ahead of time so you can put your dog away, like you mentioned to Kate. Now, what information do we send you? Here's what it looks like. Right? When you get your lead, you will get it in your smartphone. Try and get one of these to work. It looks like I can't. There we go. You will get it in your smartphone, but you'll also get an email. And the email is going to have the basic information. What time is the lead? There's one of those 6:30s that I mentioned, right? And then you're also going to have, you know, what we call our step 1 evidence. Now, these are today's leads. Okay, we got 2 sales. We have a demo no sale, and all these leads are unresulted. They're issued. They haven't been resulted yet. So I will show you good, bad, or ugly, guys. Here's what our leads look like. First one I picked out of the gate, Kevin fell at work 4 years ago, injuring his back. He fell last week in the kitchen, injuring it again. He used a cane to get around and currently has go to rehab for treatments. Lot to work with there, right? Here's another one. They want to see 12% commission lead, right? Not much evidence. I'm going to come back to this in 1 second. Let me stick that right up there. Open this one here. All right, that's the one we already looked at. Next one down. Gail has arthritis in her knees and hip. She also has sciatica, right? So a lot to work with there. This is what your lead looks like. You'll notice there's an acknowledgement button. We have 3 standing rules at the company, and this is how you adhere to one of those standing rules is acknowledge your leads. And then you get the email, it says click that button if you're using a smartphone. Your smartphone out, touch the button, it lets the database know, yep, the rep has the lead, he's good to go. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the lead we saw that had the 12% commission on it, and that's this lead. What does that mean, 12% commission? Well, I told you guys a little bit about First Street and their relationship to SafeStep back in the beginning and how we got into the tub business. But First Street itself has been around since the 80s. We just happen to be called Techno Brands, as I mentioned. But prior to that, our catalog was called Techno Scout, right? And prior to that, we were called Comtrade, right? And catalog company. And what the catalog looked like was the sharper image. Today, if you go to our catalog, this is what it looks like. You have lots and lots of senior products. So Perfect Sleep Chair, that's a great one, right? You got hearing aids, that's a great one. You'll see the Jitterbug cell phone, right? That's another great one. So the 3 of those that I just mentioned are 3 of the big 5. The WOW computers, 4th of the big 5. These are products that we sell thousands of every month, thousands and thousands out of our Virginia office. Now, when those people buy from us, well, guess what happens 30 days later? They get their chair delivered, they get their computer delivered, they get their cell phone delivered, they've had about a month to use it, and then someone in our contact center calls that customer and offers the customer an opportunity for a free in-home safety assessment. And if they accept the offer for a free in-home safety assessment, we also give them a $40 promotional product, right, or a $40 gift certificate to spend right here online. Now, how do they get that gift certificate? You carry them with you, right? So there are 2 things we've talked about that we've got to cover before we end here today. One is the Guardian 911, which I haven't forgotten about talking to you about, and one is the $40 gift certificate for our online catalog or for the catalog at large, right? So if you happen to see one of these records, 2 things are at work here. One is they know and love us. They bought something probably expensive from us, a $1,000 computer, a $2,000 chair, a $600 hearing aid. They bought something from us, and you get paid 12% commission, right? This is after your first 4. I know Kelsey explained that to you earlier, your first 4 commission rate. But once you get to your graduated commission rate, these leads are worth 12% to you. So you get paid 2% more commission for selling, a product to a previous customer. Why do we do this? Very simply, the cost associated with generating that inbound telephone call that we listen to is significantly higher than cross-marketing to one of our existing customers. So we're passing that money on to you because we want you to do well, and we want to give you an incentive to go out there and cross-market to our customers. Does that make sense? Okay, so 12% on that. Now, I talked about the 3 standing rules. Let me go to the 3 standing rules. All right. Acknowledge your leads. I covered that. All you have to do is touch that link in your email. This is the most important one right here. Report your leads with the smartphone app when you leave the home. before you turn the key in your ignition, before you call your regional sales manager, if you haven't already from the house, right? Pull out your phone, pull up your Lead Perfection app, and tell us what happened. Everybody in the company watches this page that I mentioned, that I shared with you earlier, the one we were looking at. Everybody watches this as the scoreboard. I watch it all day. Dave Modena, our president, watches it all day. Kelly, our national sales director, watches it all day. Everybody in the dispatch office watches it all day. And let me tell you who else watches it all day. Kate. Kate, who set that lead, is a straight commission sales rep. She only gets paid if you and her are able to work together to get a sold job. So she's refreshing this page all day to see, hey, did we get that one? Did we sell that one? Did we save that woman? The woman with the pacemaker. Yeah, the woman with the pacemaker who fell. Yeah, but what happened to her? Because Kate doesn't get paid unless we all get paid. Make sense? So I can't stress enough how important it is to result your leads. We're all running this page all day, every day. So pull out your phone and result your leads. I understand that Kelly covered the smartphone app with you earlier in the week. All right. Another thing I want to cover is the Guardian 911. Oh, but third rule, show up to your leads, of course. Leads cost, for everyone's edification, $500 to issue. The good ones cost $500. The ones that don't work out cost $500. The people who stiffed you, which happens, you've all been around the business, I'm assuming. Someone no-shows you, that costs us $500 too to issue that lead. They stiffed all of us. So show up, that's the third rule. Acknowledge, report, and show up. Now, other things. This Guardian 911 bathroom safety system. I want to take you through what this looks like. You heard Kate mention it at the very end of the telephone call that we listened to. Our advertising department uses various hooks, right, to get people to call in. I mentioned that early on. Here's one of those hooks. Free $200 gift. Currently, we have tested another version of the ad where it's actually called Free Bathroom Safety System. What they're referring to is the Guardian 911. What does the Guardian 911 look like? Well, it is this product here. Let me actually bring up a different picture of it. It's this product here that we will provide to everyone who buys a tub 100% free. It's a free gift. If you buy a tub from us, you get this item for free. I'll tell you how it works. You don't hang it around. It's think of life alert. I fall and I can't get up. We actually have a product like that in our catalog center called the Philips Medical Alarm. It's a competitor of Life Alert. This isn't that. It's a different type of unit. The unit itself is designed to actually hang in the bathroom. Where do most falls occur? They occur in the bathroom, or on the stairs. And the idea was a pet project of our CEO, Mark Gordon, who said, listen, I want to give one of these to everybody who buys a tub, because not only are we going to make their bathroom safe with a tub or a shower, right? But if they do happen to have a fall, we want to give them a lifeline where they hit a button and 911 is called. There's no monthly fee on this. It's an easy setup. They don't pay a recurring charge. It just summons 911 through the consumer's telephone line in their home, and we want to give it to them for free if they buy a tub. But we were thinking about the people who don't buy. Our best reps are going to bat 400, right? So you get 10 leads, you sell 4. I'm sure Kelly's already laid down the expectation. We're going to give you 10 tub leads. We want you to sell 2. Then we'll give you some more, and we train you on a couple other products, right? So if you sell 2, you're still going to see 8 people who didn't buy. Let's say of those 8, maybe one time you got no-showed. One time it ended up being a one-legger. The lead didn't work out. So let's say you see 7 people who didn't buy a tub from us. We still want to give them the opportunity to have this product and have it at our cost. This literally does cost us about $200, and it retails for about $200. And I think there's a little markup on the 200, but I think it cost us about $125, the product itself. We're passing it on to any consumer who wants it at our cost. This is not a profit center. We don't make any money on these. This is literally about saving people's lives. And if they don't buy from us, you end up in a house where there's no earthly way they can afford our product. You leave them this gift certificate, which you're going to get in the mail from Tiff Swindle, right? Along with your $40 gift cards, or I'm sorry, your $40 gift certificates that we've already mentioned. You'll get both of those items in the mail. And if you don't sell a job, leave one of these for every customer that you encounter. Okay, every customer you encounter. All right, you've already heard how we handle it on the phone. So this is what it looks like. And again, they're using the term bathroom safety system. I want to talk a little bit about speed to a lead. This is how we live. This is actually a little video I'm kind of afraid to play because I'm afraid our audio is going to go away. But actually, Kelly Dennis shot this himself. It's brilliant. And it's a woman talking about how quickly we called her after she filled out the web form. We live by speed to a lead. When you go to hydrotherapybathing.com, and that's our main landing site for the Google pay-per-click and Google ad search and so on. When you go there, not only do we have a live help tab where consumers can get help,
Thank you.
right? But we've got this web form right there. When someone fills out this web form and clicks get a free info now, there's Tom. He works right in our contact center. He's there to help you. Tom is, incidentally, Tom was one of our first employees. He's been around since Genesis. So you fill out this web form, you click get free info now, instantly, virtually instantly, within 15 to 30 seconds, one of our contact center agents is on the phone with you. Now, this is a study that was actually done by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's interesting, this Velocify company funded this study to study really our industry, retrofit home improvements. What happens an hour after your website submits a lead to you? What happens a day after the call came in and you didn't convert it? The chances of converting a lead decrease 6 times over the first hour, and the same thing applies, right, to leads that we set. So the lead we listened to, not a real good example of speed to the lead. Kate picked July 1st of all times. I want you to understand that the 6 people in the dispatch office, when they do their quality control on that lead, will try to schedule that appointment at the earliest possible time. One of the things that they're excellent at, the dispatch office, is time and distance and geography. They're the silky smooth, sweet multitaskers. So they can look at 5 appointments across a vast array of geography, and within minutes go, this one should go here, that one should go there, this one goes here, and it should run that way. We can get to it more efficiently. That's why we employ those people. That's why they sit in those seats. So I'm illustrating this point because one of the things that we will ask you to do as a sales rep here is be ready for a same-day lead. The dispatch office may call you, and let's say you got one appointment that day, and it's scheduled at 12:30, and it's 11 o'clock. You're having a relatively lazy morning. Maybe you played golf that morning before you went off to your 12:30 lead, and then here comes a phone call from Victor in the dispatch office saying, hey, I got a 3:30 to go with your 12:30, or hey, I got a 5:30 to go with your 12:30. It's about an hour away. It's on your way back. Be prepared for that. That's the culture that we live by, is speed to a lead. And if you look at this chart over here, it's very indicative of what we get conversion-wise and sales-wise as days go by between when we schedule an appointment and we show up to the appointment. So that's part of the culture that we live by, and want everyone to be prepared for it. All right, results. How does it work? Less is more. Very simple. I did not sell, demo, no sell. Here it is. We send out leads with the 6 things I mentioned already baked into them, fully baked. Need, interest, and desire. The homeowner's going to be there. They know why you're coming. There's time to consummate the sale. You got accurate information, and you got a promotional code. That's baked into every lead that we send out. If you show up and all those things are true and you got in the house, whether you got thrown out in 15 minutes or you spent 5 hours and didn't come away with a sale, it's a demo, no sale. We keep it simple. Sale, relatively self-explanatory. One-legger, relatively self-explanatory. Here's the rule on one-leggers. Don't pitch them. If you go in there and you unearth that some other decision maker that they didn't tell us about on the phone is not there and needs to be there for the decision to be made, don't give them a price. There's no way you can get us, there's no way we can get you back in the house if you've pitched a one-legger. No show, fairly straightforward. They just porched you, you knocked on the door, nobody's there. Standing rule on that is call the dispatch office. The dispatch office may have some other alternative phone number. They may have information that you don't. They may know something about the consumer that's in the internal notes, like they take 3 minutes to get to the door. They probably should have passed that on to you if it's not already in the lead, all right? But call the dispatch office before you walk away from a house where there's a no-show. All right, sales reschedule, very obscure. I showed up and the woman told me that her cousin Lulu had, just got promoted at work and they were having a happy hour and she was out to run out to go to the happy hour with her cousin Lulu and her coworkers. And yeah, you can stay here and give the presentation to Ralph. Well, don't pitch that one either. It's a sales reschedule. Let us reschedule it. Okay, politely excuse yourself. When you result both demo no sale and sale, here are the details we need. In the demo no sale, we need to have, right, what did you present? What was the out the door price? Why didn't they buy? In the sale, we need to have, was it finance declined or finance approved? You went through the financing program with TIF earlier, right? What were the terms of the sale? What did you sell? What are the details? All of that can be received right in the smartphone app, right? Who is your support team? Well, Victor Swain, I've already mentioned him. He's our dispatch manager. I mean, he literally, manages these other 5 people, all right? And all these people can be received or reached at 608-302-4000. If you receive a call from 608-302-4000, it's one of these people calling you. So answer it. It's a same-day lead, or worse, a lead we had scheduled for you has just canceled, right? We won't send you out to the house and people say, hey, don't come out. It happens, happens at least a couple times a week. A rep goes out to a house and they knock on the door and the person says, I called and canceled that. I told them not to send you out here. Well, I submit this. If any call comes in this building to any telephone line, and we've got hundreds of them, we can track it, we can quantify it, and we can trace it down. No one calls here to cancel an appointment that you don't know about. So typically, it's a buyers or liars scenario, or we find this all the time. People call us all the time and cancel appointments that they have scheduled with Premier and SafeStep. So what we do, well, I don't actually have your information here. Let me go ahead and grab that from you, and then we turn it into a lead for us. So be aware that if the dispatch office is calling you, you need to answer the phone. Program that number, 608-302-4000, into your smartphones as the central dispatch office. Okay. At this point in time, we have wrapped up, and sorry for the technological challenge that we had there in the middle of the presentation. I would like to turn you over to Victor Swain, who is the dispatch manager. He's just going to spend about literally 15 minutes maybe talking to you. He wants to make sure you understand how to do this, what your leads look like, who are your support network. But before I do that, I want to ask if you have any questions. We're basically 15 minutes from being done with this training program. Anybody? I have unmuted.
What do you pay the girls that set the appointment?
The girl?
Yeah, what do you pay the girls that set the appointment? Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you say the girl? Because it's actually about 70% men, 30% women in there. We just happen to catch Kate. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you pay Kate?
All right.
No.
Kate gets, and a good, bad, early. Kate gets $200. Right. If we get a net sale, she gets $200. She does not get paid otherwise.
And that does that across the board? Tubs, showers, stair climbers.
That's a good question. That's a great question. It's across the board for hydrotherapy products. It's half for a stair climber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
What else question?
Okay. Yeah, or I mean, tomorrow or Thursday.
All right. It sounds like Ralph is having a different conversation. So Ralph, I got you muted. Any other questions, guys? I know we've run long. Your minds are just saturated with information now. I really mean this one to be the one that you don't have to write a lot of things down. You don't have to commit a lot of things to memory, except for the 3 standing rules, right? And then how to result your leads. I really want this. Our hope for this training session is to get you amped up, pumped up, ready to go out and run leads and save some lives and sell some jobs and earn. So hopefully we've done that here. I am going to step away here, make Victor the presenter if he's in there. I don't see him in there, so we actually have him set up possibly in the conference room. Let me find out what his status is. I'm going to walk down to the dispatch office, and I will be back momentarily.
It says talking Larry Rathbone.
Can you show your screen at all?
Yeah, I do. That'll be most of the presentation, and I don't have a webcam, so okay.
Talk to them if you like.
Okay.
Can you show your screen when you're ready?
Okay. Okay.
Say hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. This is Victor, dispatch manager for Aging in the Home Remodelers. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted
you.
to Hello, hello. I know that you guys have been talking with Larry about the generation of our leads. Kelly did mention to me that he had kind of touched on a few things regarding the resulting of leads and so forth. That is the primary part of what I am going to be doing with you all. I do apologize. I was actually on trying to save an appointment just before Larry came and got with me. So bear with me for just a moment while I get this pulled up, please.
And in terms of an alternate number, ma'am, what is an alternate number that I can use in case we can't reach you on this number here? Looking at the page, there's no cell phone or online.
We were calling, you have an appointment scheduled right now. And we actually
That's fair. We'll use this number then. So I did want to let you know the name of the technician that will be coming out to meet with you.
Okay, can everyone see my screen? You should see what looks like a PowerPoint presentation with an opening frame of Wave to the Future with the Lead Perfection Salesman app.
Yes, I see.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what I'm going to be walking through with you guys, we're going to focus on how to result your leads via the app, and I'm just going to touch on a few key points regarding, dispatch office, how we are here to help you, the best way in which we can do so for us to be able to work together to be able to provide you guys the best support while out in the field, as well as us the best way to be able to support you. First and foremost, one of the things that we do here in the dispatch office, I'm sure Larry touched on this, we are quality control, we're logistics specialists. Just to give you a quick introduction into what goes into the confirmation of our leads. First and foremost, whenever we get a lead from our inside sales agents and set a lead, we get a notification with the phone number, which allows us to be able to pull up that lead immediately. One of the 6 dispatchers in here will take ownership of that at that point in time. They will start to quality control it and call the customer for the initial confirmation. First and foremost, just to give you an idea what I mean by quality control, we will go into the lead, obviously make sure that our address is completely correct, make sure that the names and everything are completely correct. We check that on, excuse me, we check that against white pages. We also check that against Zillow to see exactly what the house looks like, as well as Google Maps, so that we can get a better idea of what the home that we're sending to you looks like. Make sure that the travel time is adequate, even with traffic and things of that nature, for you guys to arrive there. And of course, make sure that the address is valid. Once we have done that, we will call the customer initially. We will go through a series of questions to, as we say, quality control. Those questions are centered around making sure those addresses and the information I just mentioned are correct, making sure that we have the owners of the home there, and any extra part of the decision-making committee, i.e. a son that handles their finances, a daughter who is the power of attorney for the individuals that we are trying to assist. And, of course, make sure that they are there for an open-ended appointment time for you all, so that you have time to, get them signed up and become a part of the Jacuzzi family, or, of course, the Easy Climber family. Any questions? It's a real brief introduction to that, but I do want you guys to know just what goes on to it before you ever see that lead yourself. Okay, I will take silences. There's no questions regarding that. If anything else comes up, or if you guys think of any while we go through the rest of it, please don't hesitate to ask. So after we have finish with our customer, and more hopefully than not have been able to write them up as part of our growing family. It's the question of how do we result that. We have moved in the last year to using the Lead Perfection Sales app for a number of different reasons, mainly just so that the dispatch office here can be utilized more as your support, and to make sure that we are getting as many leads in you guys' hands that we have available to you. The three biggest rules that I do want to make sure that everyone understands, as you see here, we have 3 standing rules at AIHR. Number 1, acknowledge the lead. Number 2, result the leads when you leave the house. Please not after you leave the house, but as soon as you do finish up. The reason for that is we like a lot of details in our results, you know, and I'll go through that. And when we leave the house and move on to the next customer, there's a lot of opportunities that we have that we may miss a few fine details that we otherwise need to get from you. Whoops. Let me go back to that. The last rule is run them, don't call them. That's why you have your dispatchers here. We'll obviously make sure to quality control everything that we can for you, as well as if you're having any difficulties in the field, you don't need to call the customer. You call us, and we will take care of those difficulties a lot of the times with you on the line with us. The beauty of that is all 3 of these things that we are mentioning can be done through this app that we have started using. Where to find it? If you are an Android user, things of that nature, Google Play search, you do want to actually, as it says here, have Lead Perfection as one word. Lead Perfection space salesman. The logo is the same across the board, so when you see that, you will know that you have found the right thing. If you are an iPhone user, you will find that on the App Store, of course, or an iTunes search. You will actually separate Lead Perfection and Salesman altogether. Again, as you guys can see here, the logo for it is the same, so as long as you are seeing that, you are downloading the right app that we need you to. Now, once you have downloaded this app on your smartphone, and I would ask if any of you guys are attempting to do this while we run through, please don't. I can get this presentation over to you if it's necessary. I can assist you with these things, but what I have found in doing this is it's better if we just make sure that we have a full understanding of what we're doing instead of trying to do 2 things at once, because there's a lot of details here that tend to get lost. But once you have downloaded that, the first time that you log in, you should only have to do this once, but you will have this login screen come into the app. It will ask for your user ID, your password, the client ID, which is G698, and then the URL, which is g698.leadperfection.com, and then the URL, the email that you all provided for us to be able to get in contact with you. To give you an update on this, the user ID will be the user ID that I believe it's Kelsey will give to you. I don't think anything has changed. It is usually the first initial of your first name with the capital letter, and then your last name with the first letter capitalized. The password is the same thing when you first get into that. After you have gotten into that, we do ask that you try to change that for yourself, obviously for protective reasons. Again, the client ID you would enter in is a capital G698. And the URL is posted here, g698.leadperfection.com. And the email, you guys would know because you provided it to Kelsey. If you have any difficulty with this, again, I can get this presentation over to you, and you will be able to call into the dispatch office and get the assistance that you need for that. Once you are into this, the beauty of it is you can we have found that this app really works great for our sales reps for a number of reasons. This is the front dashboard that you'll see every single day that you log into it. You will be notified of the status of your leads and what would be missing on your part. For example, as you guys can see here, there's notification that you have new appointments that have not been viewed. The earliest, obviously, this is back a little bit. But also, this will show appointments that have not been resulted. The goal is to not have any of those because as we ask that you get those resulted when you're leaving the home. The key functions that you're going to have on this are the appointments, pretty self-explanatory, the upcoming ones that we have confirmed and ready to go for you. The sales which you guys have made is actually provides you the opportunity to see what sales, where the status is. of your job as it moves forward going through production. And lastly, the stats, what your closing rate is, things of that. It's very handy in the aspect because every day that you're working with this, you can go and it will update, appointment by appointment. Excuse me. After the leads have been issued, i.e. you would have something similar to this, you have new appointments that have not been viewed. But after they are issued, they'll appear on your calendar with this little orange square. You can touch that day, and then that's going to go directly to the leads that we have assigned for you. Any questions up to this point, guys? Okay, we will keep moving forward. If anyone is muted, just double check. I definitely don't want any questions going unanswered on this. I want to make sure that you guys have a firm understanding of this. Once you click on this day and you go into your appointments, you will see the list as very similar to here. You'll see the leads that are assigned. You can touch each individual lead and you're going to see specific details. And then also from touching those individual leads, you can go in and do the three things that we said. You can acknowledge them. You can go through and result them. And, of course, you're running the leads. The app's not doing that for you. But, again, this will have, just on this screen without getting into details, it's going to have the time of the appointment, the day of the appointment, and the primary individuals that we are going to help. Now, obviously, once you see this in issue status, just to let you guys know, that means that, it's went through the confirmation process. It's been given the reminder call. We've nailed down that they're going to be there. It is ready for you guys to run. There should not be any concerns at that point. It's simply we've got to get to these guys at the times that we have their appointments set up for them. But once you touch the individual lead and go into it, this is what you're going to see when I'm talking about the details. First and foremost, you see the button here that's in gray that the line is pointing to. You can acknowledge the leads. Please, please, please get in the habit of actually acknowledging the leads. That sends an immediate response to the dispatchers that are here. We have a presentation page that shows all our leads that are in issue, so when we see something in acknowledged, we take that as the rep is aware of the lead, he's ready to go, there's no questions, concerns. If it's left in emailed status, which is where we do at the end of the day, or viewed, it's kind of a red flag to us. If we see it just viewed, is there a concern? Are we supposed to have you off that day and maybe we missed that? Or is there a problem that you see in the lead that, one other concern, which is not normally the case. We just have, we do have individuals that will go in, they'll look at them, and I guess they just forget to hit the acknowledge button. So please, please, please make sure that this is part of your daily thing when you're looking at the leads, not just reading them, but actually hitting that button. Now, I did mention us emailing. Right here, you don't have to wait for us to email them to you. We do that as a secondary way of communicating with you all. So please, as soon as you actually see them in there, hit the acknowledgement button so that we know that you all are aware of the lead. The second part of what we're able to do other than just acknowledging, just to highlight, you guys will see the notes. I'm sure Larry talked about the way a lead is generated through the step one and the time that our inside sales agents spend on the phone. You get all of these notations so that you have a firm understanding of why we are going to assist the customers, and you'll be able to scroll through these as well. But once the lead is acknowledged, we get to the customer to go see them. We want to, excuse me. Forgive me, this got just a little bit out of whack for me. Okay, here we go. It did go right. After we finish up with the appointment, after we have written them up wonderfully for the product that's going to help them stay in their home, the next part of the process is updating the lead, essentially resulting the lead, what happened with it. You'll go right back into the same place that you acknowledged, and instead of going to this grayed out button here, we're going to update it. Again, this is one of the reasons why we started doing it. Your result goes directly up for the entire company. Obviously, dispatch, we monitor the results, but this goes Larry to Dave Modena, our our president. Throughout, the inside sales agents is waiting eagerly to see what the results of their appointment that they set with all areas of the spectrum. So this is why this is extremely important, that make sure that we get the details that I'm going to go over correctly, so that all of these individuals that do go through this these results throughout the day can see clearly what is exactly going on with our appointments. So once we hit the update button, this is the screen that you will see. As you can see here, it has a disposition which, when you all receive it, will be an issued appointment. You touch that, and there is a drop down that will appear with the options of how to result the lead. Obviously, you will select one of those. From there, you're going to fill in the details. The product would be self-explanatory for the appointment and the presentation that you gave. Now here we have in the sales column the dollar amount or sales. That would only be utilized if it is a contract signed, written up appointment. This also does apply to if it is a finance decline, but again, only if we're actually going through a contract and we have signed these individuals up. If it is a demo no sell in this aspect and we left them with, the same day pricing, that's where we would fill these type of things in the comments. Again, it is very crucial for our reporting that when you have a sell, it does go into the sales column. Equally as important, when you have a demo no sell, that this dollar amount does not go into the sales column, because this is how we track our reporting as far as our net revenue and things like that. And then, of course, there are comments that you would put in if it is something other than if it was, the sale regarding the parameters of the contract, or a demo no sell, the customer not buying, the work that needs to be done for the job to be done, or if it's others, we'll go through that in the details. Are there any questions at this point about exactly what would need to go into each of these particular fields? Okay. So moving right along, as I said, the drop down here from when you hit the disposition, there is, I believe it's 7. 7 total results that we use for our appointments. Now, as you will see here highlighted in red, the last 2 are used only by dispatch. I'm going to go ahead and further that by saying there are 3 that are listed by dispatch, and I will explain why. Now, we'll start with the best of everyone's world, the sell. There's the sell, demo no sell, which we look at as did not sell, i.e. a no build situation, or demoed and no sell. We just couldn't get the customer on board for the same day. One legger, kind of self-explanatory. The wife's not there, the husband's not there, or the child decision maker that we have deemed needs to be there is not there. I'm going to skip over no show. I'll explain why in just a moment. The other is a sales reset. What a sales reset means is that we got porched. We got in the door. They tried to say, I've decided against it. We're just not able to get in the door to do the demo. Or we get in and, we sit down. Even after dispatches went and nailed them down to an open-ended appointment, are you there for the afternoon? You're going to be there for the morning, for the midday, things of that nature. For whatever reason, they have had something come up. You've gotten started but not gotten to the point of pricing or actually the meat and potatoes of the presentation, and they have to leave a little earlier. That would be what is considered a sales reset. If we do get into the point of the presentation where we have gotten pricing with them, we have taken a look at the necessary areas to see exactly what's specific, and they use this as kind of their way out, that is still going to be considered a demo no sell once we've left the pricing. So please be aware of the difference. We want to make sure that, and that should not occur to you guys very often. We do a very rigorous process of making sure that these individuals are going to be available for the duration of the appointment. Now, for the ones that are covered by dispatch, let me go back up to this customer no-show. The reason why I say that you guys should not have to put this in, we absolutely have to have you guys call when you think you're getting no-showed at the appointments. It's not to check up on anything, but we have found over doing this that a lot of the times they don't hear you guys knocking. They're, in the bathroom, or maybe they're asleep. So what we do is when you guys call into the dispatch office and say, hey, look, I'm knocking on the door. I've been banging here for about 5 minutes. No one is answering the door. We will give them a call, numerous calls. And figure out where they're at. Maybe they're coming home just a few minutes late. Maybe they were asleep and forgot about the appointment, or maybe they were getting out of the bathroom, something along those lines. The reason that we do this is because of the customers that maybe are sitting in their backyard or maybe don't hear the door as well as they would hear their phone. Because what happens if we just log it as a no-show without attempting to call, and then we call back later that afternoon, the next day, to try and reschedule the appointment, and they say, well, we don't want to reset with you guys because we were here all day. Well, obviously that's no one's fault in the aspect that they didn't hear us and we couldn't knock loud enough that they could hear us, but that's why we want to make sure and cover all bases by ringing. As a rule of thumb, your dispatchers will ring, let it ring once to go to voicemail, call it directly back, leave it a voicemail that we were out. If they're there to open the door, hopefully they'll be able to do that. But if not, we did want to make sure and let them know we were there for the appointment. The other result that would be listed by dispatch is what we call an HW, i.e. the lead's not going to be able to get covered. This would be scenarios like, you're driving from one appointment to the next, the car messes up, you wake up, you're just way too ill to be able to get into the car, to be able to go run the appointments that we have that day. Or, for example, we get, in a long state of close with our midday appointment, and the customer simply is not willing to, the following customer is simply not willing to wait until we could get there. Again, this is one that we try to utilize so that we can make sure and annotate exactly why it's going on. I never expect a lot of HWs from most anyone because we want to make sure that we're getting out to our customers. But at the same time, if you guys wake up ill, the last thing we want you doing is going and getting another customer sick and you guys not being 100% for the following day. The last one that I'm going to mention here that is another one that would just be used by dispatch. It's customer call and cancel the appointment. We focus on trying to get our leads issued to you guys, by the early afternoon of your respective times. That way you can see in advance kind of what your day is shaping up to be, minus any things that we're able to pull up for you to fill in the gaps or any next days that may be set after we issue. However, it does occur at times that we nail down the customer. They say everything's golden. 2 to 3 hours later, an emergency happens. They're having to take the spouse to the hospital, or one of the sons got called into work and is part of the decision-making crew. What you will receive from us on that aspect is once we've issued the lead, we're going to give you a call, leave you a voicemail to let you know this customer called in to cancel. We're also going to follow that with an email to you just to make sure that you're aware, and you'll see this in CCC. Something that occurs occasionally is you go to bed at, say that you're Central Time, we're here in Mountain Time. You go to bed around, 10 o'clock, you got an 8 a.m. appointment. One of our dispatchers is in here at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, so that would be 7 p.m. Central Time. And over the course of the night, they have called in and left an emergency voicemail that they're not going to be there for the 8 a.m. appointment. So if you wake up and you thought you had that lead at 8 o'clock, you wake up the next day and happen to see it in CCC, check your email, check your voice messages. More likely than not, you're going to have something for us. But if you don't have any of those things, give us a call, and we'll make sure just that it wasn't just a mix-up on that case. Again, those are the things we make it a point to minimize. So any question on exactly what each of these results means and or the scenarios in which we would use them? Okay. So from the results, here's the detail part. I implore everyone to just take some basic notations. Again, I can provide you this PowerPoint if you feel that it would be more beneficial or necessary for you. But what we need on each one of these individual results is what we're about to go over now. On a sale, again, starting with the best one, the one everyone likes, we need the details on construction, the down payment, and the terms. So, for example, as you guys can see here, we have a sale for $795. It's a 50-gallon water heater, the electrical upgrade, R&R, the toilet and vanity, and it has been GE approved for $8,200 in the financing. They're going to the bank for the rest. Now, what we are missing here is the down payment. Most likely this would be a finance pending, so they may not have put anything down. We would still ask for those notations just so we know exactly what it is that we're looking for. Another scenario on this would be, sold $49.95, exclusive straight lift, $1,200 down, rest, cash deal on completion. We do need all of those details because please understand the things that you all send over in production in Dropbox does not come to the dispatch office, does not go into these results that everyone looks at. Production has specifically the details and the paperwork that you're going to have. So as I said before, these individuals that are constantly looking at these to see how we're doing for the day and how we're selling, they want to see, is this a cash deal? Is this a finance deal? What's the down payment? Did we get a down payment? Things of that nature. So for example, the way that we don't want this done on a sale, this is a finance decline sale. Just putting dispositioning as sale, finance decline, it's not going to work. We need to know the reason for this being is say that we had a 5228 tub for $13,795, $2,200 on the electrical, and it was finance decline because they were only partially approved for $8,200. That's a possible rehash opportunity. Let's see if we can't maybe get them into the rehash tub, get them to make up the difference that we can't afford on the financing. So again, that's the reason the details are, first of all, so that everyone can see how we're doing. But on the back end, when we follow up with these customers or your regional sales manager goes to do a rehash, they need those details on that as well. And if they're not logged in here, they're either going to have to call you and hope that we still have all the paperwork and know what it is offhand, or they're going to call me and I'm not going to have the information that they need to be able to get the deal going. The next one on is the demo no sale. As you see here, we need the details on the out the door price. Again, the construction, and instead of the terms of the contract, the reason the customer didn't buy. So taking the sale that we have here, say that it's demo no sale, $16,795, 50-gallon water heater, electrical upgrade, R&R toilet and vanity. Customer would not make a same-day decision. They were adamant they needed to think about this before making a decision. Or customer simply could not afford the payments for the financing available, things of that nature. Again, we need all the details on the construction and the out-the-door price so that when we rehash the appointment, if we didn't do it in the house, we have a knowledge of exactly what the work that would need to be done so we can give them an accurate pricing on that, as well as if the reason that they didn't buy, so that we're prepped whenever we give them a call back as to why the real reason why they didn't want to move forward. I feel like those are fairly self-explanatory. Those are kind of the easy ones, minus making sure we get all the details. Any questions on this, guys? Okay, moving on forward, the ones that we like to see the least of, and the dispatch office does everything that we can to ensure that this happens for you. My apologies. The one-legger. Now, the best thing, I always implore you guys, when you are in a one-legged situation, give your dispatch office a call and let them know what's going on. The reason why I say that is with you in the home with the customer, and say the husband, had a doctor's appointment that came up. We obviously called and nailed them down the day before, and that wasn't enough. So if you're face-to-face with the customer and you call your dispatchers, we can look at your schedule, and with that customer while you're in the home, find a time that the husband and wife can both be there, and we can set it for you. We can reschedule it for you live right there. Now, in a situation that maybe you don't get a hold of us, which we try to minimize, or they're a little bit pushy about getting you out the door because the husband's not there, we need to know why the husband wasn't there and where he was at. The reason why I say this is if they go through confirmation the first time and they say they're both going to be there and they come back and it's a one-leg situation, I can assure you that your dispatch team is going to make sure that we nailed that person down. If the wife said, yeah, they're both going to be there, and the husband wasn't going to be there, we're going to focus on confirming the appointment with the individual that was not at the appointment. That way, we're not sending you back out there a second time for a repeat of the same thing. The counterpoint of that, the SR, where I talked about being porched, or maybe they scheduled a doctor's appointment too close, we want to know why. If they said they called and canceled the appointment, which you would be aware of if they did, but if that's the reason that they say, then we need to know that. If they had to leave early, i.e. why couldn't you pitch, wasn't going to have time to really do a full presentation, let us know. Again, the dispatch team, when we go through the confirmation, we'll be honest with the customer. It looks like we came out to meet with you last Thursday at 11:30, but you guys had a doctor's appointment to go through at 12:30. Now, Mr. Jones, I want to make sure that when we say that my technician is going to be there for you at 12:30, you guys are available for the afternoon so we can get your questions asked and answered. Again, we want to lean on the stuff that doesn't go out, that we don't get the results that we're looking to for. CNS, again, self-explanatory, and as it's notated here, call dispatch. We will call them a handful of times to exhaust every option across all the phone numbers we have available for the customer to try and get you in the door. And at that point, we're generally going to be the person that's going to take care of resulting that lead for you so that we know exactly what happened. Any questions on the details regarding what we need when we result the leads? Okay. Now, after you result the lead, just to give you an idea how we follow it with our customers, and again, another reason for all the details that we do ask for in this, every lead that's not a demo, no sell, or a sell, we call back your quality control team, i.e. the dispatch team, to find out what happened. A big part of this is so that we can get it rescheduled because, if it's a hot lead that they just had an emergency come up and they weren't available, we want to get you out there as soon as we can, back out there so that we can close the deal and assist our customers. All cells are called the next day by your production team, and our demo no cells are called by us in dispatch to, again, follow up, see if maybe there's something else that we could have done for them, just to see if we exhausted every option. If the lead does not result in the demo, again, we need to know why from the customer. That being the case, we want to double check on what it is we spoke with you. Again, this is something else that if you can call on those one legs or the SRs, it helps out your dispatch team because we can just get the appointment rescheduled within, and we know exactly why we weren't able to have the appointment at the time. CNS, again, and I know I've said this twice already, call dispatch. I can't tell you how many times I fronted reps into homes that they swore that there was nobody home and the customer's sleeping or the customer's just not is very, very hard of hearing. So please call dispatch on your customer no-shows. It's vital. It truly is vital. And at a one leg, again, same reason that I say call the dispatch team. See if you can get a hold of us while you're in the home. You can find out when it can be a two-leg appointment. We can get it set up, and the way that we look at that is if they were busy enough to have something come up that's more important than our appointment, there's a good possibility that that could happen again if we let it wait. So we want to nail down exactly when we can do that for our customers. Now, just to help you guys out with another aspect of the app, as I said before, those sales that you're going to be making, you are able to see in this same application. You don't have to email about your job missing from your commission batch. You can simply look up and see exactly what's going on. For example, if something goes from, sale work in progress to the customer calls back and they want to put it on hold, this is updated immediately so that you are aware and you can constantly be looking at these throughout the day, maybe in the 10 minutes before the appointment while you're waiting because you had a little less traffic. Excuse me. And as it says here, you can kind of assist yourself because you'll be able to get most of your questions answered just by going through your app instead of having to wait for one of your production managers to give you a call back on what's going on with it. You know what's going on with it. You have it scheduled. The customer's called and put it on hold. It's in stock, things of that nature. But as the last and final slide, get the app, use it, and love it. I'm sure there's probably a couple of you guys that may have used it before. I've talked with individuals that have been using this for a short while, and I was very, very pleased whenever we moved over to this at the beginning of last year. It truly has freed up the dispatch office to be able to help with what we call the truly burning fires. You guys running late from finishing one cell or caught in traffic because there's gridlock on the interstate, or you're getting torched and the customer's saying one thing and maybe need a little bit of help from your dispatch team trying to curb them to be able to get in. The last thing that I do want to give you guys a heads up on, just to let you know, doesn't have to do with the app, but I really do want to hammer home that your dispatch team is your support team. We are here to help you. We understand that you guys are behind the windshield a lot of days, putting in driving hours and going into a customer's home, and good days and bad days all as well. We are here to help you with your scheduling. We are here to help you with getting, to your appointments if you're going to be running late, if you are having car problems. We're basically your problem-solving crew. So please don't hesitate to give us a call. If for any reason you are giving us a call at any point in time and not getting through, please leave us a voicemail. The only thing that we can't do is see that you're calling when we're all on the phone. It's not like we have something that shows our missed calls or calls that came in after the fact. But we do have a voicemail that is dedicated specifically to this team that we watch like hawks. As soon as we see that we have a voicemail, we're in it to find out how it is that we can either help the customer that has left us a voicemail or you guys that have left us a voicemail. So please don't hesitate to call and lean on us. We are here to assist, and in every way possible. It has been one of the things that has been mentioned to me more times than not, that is the biggest help about being in you guys' position, having someone here like this. So any other questions about anything I covered? I know it's a lot of information in a finite amount of time. At the same time, we will help you guys get used to using this if you do have any problems.
Victor, I know we want to be at appointments on time, but if something, we get held up in a traffic jam or something unexpected, is there a rule of thumb of if we're going to be 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, at what point do we call you to call the homeowner?
I don't worry about 5. Anything more than 5, I want our customers knowing.
Okay, thank you.
No problem at all. It's a great question, and the reason why I say that is this: a lot more times than not, if you guys are more than 5 minutes late, we're getting a call asking where you're at. So I never worry about just 5 minutes. I mean, that's pretty easy for you guys to get past. Hey, it's just a little extra traffic. But if we're going to be more than 5, especially with the demographic we work with, I feel it is very, very beneficial, even if you're at 5 minutes and you're going to be there 5 minutes later, that call from us just saying, hey, sorry we're running behind, here's why we're running behind, and we want you to know that we're still coming to meet with you. It is huge for you guys being able to get in the door that much easier. Any other questions,
Victor,
guys?
hi, this is Grant out. Yeah, this is Grant out in Eugene. I have a question regarding if we need personal time off. How is that going to show on our schedule so they'll know?
What you need to do if you need personal time off, it's a great question, Grant. Thank you very much for bringing that up. That's actually something I probably should have touched on as well. Excuse me. If you need time off, just as a rule of thumb, what we do ask is 2 weeks in advance. That may be a little different what some of you guys are used to. Let me explain to you the reasoning why. I'm sure Kelly has probably mentioned this to you guys a handful of times. We have a lot of areas right now that we are just spilling over in some leads, and we cannot be happier to have you guys coming online, and we want to keep it that way. But we try to keep our appointments within 2 weeks. So if we schedule those appointments and say that, let's see, today's the 19th, so let's just start from Monday on the 22nd. 4th of July weekend's a great time. We are scheduling appointments for the 3rd of July. So if someone tells me on next Thursday, the 25th, that they need off for the 3rd of July, more likely than not, we're going to have a full day booked for them at that point in time. So what that leads into is if we don't have anyone else that we can filter it over to, or the other person in your area is asked off for time, we have no one to cover it. I mean, really, guys, I can't approve that because we need to be able to see our customers. But on the counterpoint, anything past that, along with emergencies that come up, we're always willing to work with you. We try to shuffle the parts as much as possible in case of emergencies. What I do ask Grant and everyone else is email your RSM the time off request that you have with that time, with that at least 2 week advance notice, and copy me on it. I handle all of the changing of the programs. I pretty much handle all of the scheduling for every single rep that we have. So by default, you can call us, I can talk to you about it, but I need something that I can refer back to and that I can keep. So I need you to email the RSM, your respective RSMs, and then copy me. And I'll be more than happy to give you the email address for myself. You'll be receiving a lot of them from me, but it is Victor, VICTOR, Swain, SWAIN, at AITHR remodelers, it is plural, .com. And if anyone needs me to repeat that, don't hesitate to ask. Okay.
Victor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had a quick question. This is Erwin Leiter in the Chicago area. On Wednesday, we did some ride-alongs, and they were sent to us by email.
Yes, sir.
And there was an acknowledgement there that we hit. But for future use, should all the leads, we should just check with LP, the LP Sale Perfection app, or are they? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. They're
Your
not going to
app,
be. Yeah.
They will still be emailed. That's a great question, Erwin. They will still be emailed. Your primary resource is going to be your app. To let you guys know, I would still look at the emails because, for example, if there are special driving directions, say that it's just for you, Erwin, I'm going to say it's off in Peoria, but it's not central Peoria. It's kind of off in the sticks or Champaign in that area, and there's some special directions. We're going to put that in a field that is only going to be seen via the email. The same thing like if you have a gate code, things like that. So the easiest, obviously, the appointment itself and what we're going out there to look at the customer and to be able to do those three primary things we talked about are going to be in the app. But you will still receive an email when we finish up with the nation for the day every single day. So I would always just double check the email just to glance it over. A lot of the times you're not going to see anything extra, but just in the case that it is one of those scenarios that we put something in there we want you to notice. Another option of what happens is, I use Peoria as an example. Erwin, you'll know what I'm talking about. But say we had an 11:30 or a 12:30 and a 4 p.m. in Peoria on Tuesday, and we've got a 9 o'clock in Peoria the next day that just simply could not fit into the schedule on Tuesday. We're going to send you a thing, hey, your leads are probably going to be in the same area tomorrow. You might want to go ahead and pack an overnight bag just to make it easier on you as far as driving.
Great. Okay. Well, will on those emails that you're talking about with the special, if there's special directions, will we be able to acknowledge from there, or we should always acknowledge through the LP?
Always acknowledge through the app. You will not be able to acknowledge the lead through the email.
Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah.
No problem. No problem. Great questions, guys. Keep them coming if you got anything else. I know we went through some of that pretty fast, and you guys are very aware of the speed bumps that you encounter doing this. So if you have anything, any scenario, now is the time to ask.
Okay, you know what, Archie, I've heard that that's more common than you think. So thank you for letting me know.
Okay. Well, guys, that takes up my end of what I needed to go over with you guys. I do appreciate the time with you, and I definitely cannot wait to get you guys in these leads and see what we can do. I look forward very much to working together all, and hope you guys have a great weekend and a great start to your week next week, okay?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Give me just a moment. I'm not sure if there's somebody following me, so bear with me for just a moment, okay? On it. I am the last one for you guys, so it's my understanding I'm going to go ahead and cancel out this go-to meeting. You guys have a great weekend, okay?
Thanks.
My pleasure, guys.
Oh, it's Friday? Well, good. Thank you.